good, everybody? My Paper Moon fam. It's your boy, PaperSin, aka the Hokage of the village. Hitting in that loud, you know what I'm saying? But since I like y'all so much, I'm gonna ask y'all a question, Cause I like you, so I'm gonna worry about your mental health. Cause have you ever been told that you need therapy? Have you? Yes, no, maybe so. Have you ever been? Some people like to say, everybody should try therapy at least once. It's like, why? Why though? Why? And because they do. Somebody just said that. And because people will go out of their way to seek said therapy or believe that they do need therapy, or maybe they actually do need therapy and they go and find some therapy. They might see an ad or something on YouTube or a sponsored video or something that talks about BetterHelp. The place that's the therapy thing is supposed to be like online. Anyway, but have you tried them before? Because apparently patients are suing BetterHelp. There's 3 class action lawsuits against them, it seems, And this is obviously by the YouTube channel Logically Answered. So as always, link to the video and link to the channel will both be in the description below. Be sure to check them out. Let's get into it. Let's see what's good, see what's great, see what's going on. No hate.
If you spend enough time on YouTube, I'm sure you've heard of BetterHelp. They're the online therapy platform that's supposed to help people work through the darkest portions of their lives, and for the most part, they do a pretty good job. They have managed to grow a massive network of 23,000 fully certified experienced therapists who serve over 2.5 million people.
Damn.
And it seems that almost all of these users are pretty happy, given that they have over 100,000 reviews on the App Store with an average rating of 4.8.
So what's wrong?
But it's not all good news. You see, while BetterHelp's overall goals and intentions may be pure, their behavior has largely been influenced by the need to maximize profits and achieve global domination as the go-to mental therapy platform.
The greed, the need for money. Gimme! See where it leads. It can corrupt.
For example, you've probably heard of doctor-patient privilege. This is one of the most important aspects of therapy. More times than not, people visit therapists to open about topics that they're ashamed about or embarrassed about. Doctor-patient privilege is what encourages these people to share their vulnerabilities and to get the help they need. As such, protecting doctor-patient privilege is of utmost importance for most clinics and therapists, but this doesn't seem to be the case at BetterHelp. In fact, BetterHelp has repeatedly sold sensitive data to Facebook, Snapchat, Pinterest, and other such platforms over the past several years.
Are you serious?
But that's not even the worst part. The worst part is how they addressed the situation when the FTC confronted them about this practice earlier this year. The normal response would have been to either deny that they were selling this data or to issue a public apology for their behavior. But BetterHelp actually had the audacity to claim that yes, they were selling data, but no, it's not wrong. They would write off the situation as, quote, industry standard practice, routinely used by some of the largest health providers, health systems, and healthcare brands.
I'm pretty sure therapists don't go around selling your information. Like private therapists don't go around selling your information, after you leave their office. Because, doctor-patient confidentiality. Isn't it supposed to be like against the law to do that? Or am I just missing something? They're saying industry standard practice. Like everybody in the health industry sells information. Yes, maybe there are some health industry things that say, oh, this person's taking this type of medicine. Like if people are buying over-the-counter medicine and it's like, oh, we sold this to this much of this many people or whatever. But not like therapy closed door sessions that are supposed to be private. Those people's information doesn't usually get sold, or am I just wrong here?
It seems that BetterHelp has made their position clear, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. So join me as we take a look at the dark side of BetterHelp.
His voice definitely fits what he looks like. Good shit. Selling
Usually,
out.
when we're talking about data privacy, it's more of an ethical question as opposed to a legal one. For example, Google and Meta's data collection is questionable from an ethical perspective, but not from a legal one. After all, they lay out exactly what they're going to collect in their privacy policy, and you basically have to sign off on this agreement before you even use their platforms. With BetterHelp, on the other hand, that's not the case. Now, I'm sure that if you really dig deep into the fine print, somewhere it acknowledges that they may share your data, but throughout the platform, they constantly reassure customers that privacy is a top priority. Rest assured, any information provided in this questionnaire will stay private between you and your counselor. Messages with your therapist are not shared with any third party, and your live sessions are not recorded. We also do not share when you send a message or have a session with your therapist with any third party.
Okay.
This last statement must have been a new addition because they used to do exactly this. Back in 2020, an investigation revealed that BetterHelp was allegedly sharing the metadata of therapist conversations with Facebook. Facebook was being alerted every time a user opened BetterHelp and sent a message. This meant that Facebook was essentially getting a full log of when users were having therapy sessions, where they were attending sessions from, and how long they were in sessions. When confronted about this, BetterHelp would simply decline to answer. You would think that they would stop selling data after this confrontation, but it seems that they may have actually just doubled down. According to an FTC report that came out in March of 2023, BetterHelp allegedly used a wide variety of tactics to share the health information of over 7 million consumers with Facebook, Snapchat, and Pinterest. They even allegedly shared data collected from health questionnaires, which included questions like these. Are you experiencing overwhelming sadness, grief, or depression? Have you ever had thoughts that you would be better off not alive? And have you taken medication or been in therapy before? Why would BetterHelp share this data, you ask?
Yeah.
Well, so that these users could be retargeted with BetterHelp ads.
Oh my god. So these users are retargeted for BetterHelp ads, and I'm sure they're all, and BetterHelp probably accepts money for certain corporations who want to send ads to certain types of people for certain things, and be like, oh yeah, here. You got one of these people? They're definitely suffering from depression. Nah, even though they probably aren't. Just send them an ad for from one of our pills. Yeah, do that for us, all right? All right, yeah. And then they go send that ad, retarget that same person that ad for pills or for depression. And that person goes through that tunnel and buys the depression pills because during a therapy session, somebody probably said, "Oh, you should probably get some depression pills." The next thing you know, they get an ad in their email. Hey, by the way, here's some depression pills. Heard you were looking for us.
FTC complained, using this health information for advertising, BetterHelp has brought in hundreds of thousands of new users, resulting in millions of dollars in additional revenue. This, by the way, seems to be working out really well for BetterHelp, as they just had their first billion-dollar year.
God damn.
And the fine for all of this is just a mere $7.8 million, which will be used to refund affected users. As we previously mentioned, BetterHelp never admitted guilt, claiming that this was just standard industry practice.
They're like, yeah, we did it. So
unfortunately, they're actually right. Around the same time that BetterHelp was exposed, it came out that another online therapy platform, Cerebral, had done the same thing.
Another therapy
platform? They had shared
platform?
the private health information, including mental health assessments of 3.1 million patients, with Facebook, Google, and TikTok. And according to a report from Mozilla, it's the same case with most other online therapy platforms as well. As such, the FTC is more concerned about reforming the entire industry as opposed to just finding BetterHelp for as much as possible. And in that effort, they've proposed a couple of new guidelines and reforms. The FTC has proposed a total of 6 new reforms that BetterHelp must abide by, and other platforms should probably follow as well.
Good shit.
The first reform is expanding the definition of health information. One of the main reasons that these platforms are able to get away with sharing so much information about their users is because a lot of it, like email addresses, IP addresses, and metadata, isn't technically considered as health information. But the FTC is arguing that context counts. Sure, an email address may not usually be considered as health information. But when a consumer enters an email address on a mental health platform, it's a completely different story. That email address suddenly becomes personally identifiable information that this user may need therapy. So moving forward, these platforms should treat auxiliary information as health information as well. The second reform centers on implementing policies, practices, and procedures to protect health information. This one is pretty straightforward. The FTC claims that BetterHelp doesn't have written policies and procedures for protecting the privacy of health information. They also fell short on properly training and supervising employees that have access to health information. As such, platforms must implement more robust policies and procedures, but more importantly, platforms must get affirmative express consent before sharing user data with third parties. Speaking of transparency...
Wait, consent from who? From the person they actually did the therapy session with, hopefully. I mean, just gotta make sure. But like, yes, changes need to be made.
The FTC has also ruled that these platforms must ditch their deceptive designs. One of the main reasons that people trust these platforms so easily is because they make statements like this: "We never sell or rent any information you share with us." Reading this,
tell me that was from BetterHelp. Because
it's natural.
Then they turn it right around and say, yeah, let's sell that shit.
To think that your private data is safe. It's not until you read the fine print that you actually understand what's going on. And given that no one reads the fine print, almost no one knows what's going on until something like this report comes out.
Makes sense.
Considering this, the FTC has required platforms to be more transparent about their data collection and sharing, and to BetterHelp's credit, it seems like they're already implementing this. If you go to BetterHelp's website right now, you're immediately greeted with this banner on the bottom that admits that they collect and share data with Meta and TikTok, including personally identifiable information.
Oh, very bottom.
Ideally, they wouldn't share this data to begin with, but at least now they're being transparent about it. Moving on to the fourth reform, the FTC is ordering platforms to be more transparent about how encryption does not necessarily protect privacy. Here's the thing.
What do you mean? Why are they worried about encryption when the BetterHelp people are already selling their information? Like, even though they'll have to expand the definition of I forgot what the privacy thing. Even though they have to expand the definition, like, they're not gonna care. Like, once they do that, I don't know. I lost my train of thoughts. Like, it's not gonna matter because even if they have to say that, you know, the encryption is going to protect your personal data. It doesn't matter because the company's already selling it either way. Like, it doesn't matter if your shit's encrypted. I guess it only keeps the thing from getting hacked. That way, BetterHelp can be the ones to be assured to make money off selling your information versus the thing not being encrypted, getting hacked or easily getting hacked, and then just that person selling your information. BetterHelp wants to make sure that they get paid for selling your information.
Transparent about how encryption does not necessarily protect privacy. Here's the thing. When people hear that their personal data is being encrypted, they automatically equate that to their personal data being protected.
True.
But this is a rather misleading statement, because if you give Facebook the encrypted data along with the keys to decrypt it, while the data is still being kept secure, it's not exactly being kept private. Next up, the fifth reform is pretty straightforward. The FTC wants these platforms to play a more active role in monitoring what data their ad partners actually collect and share.
Okay.
And finally, the last reform prevents platforms from misleadingly using certain seals.
Hold on, what'd that say? Are they gonna limit anything? Monitor data flows to all third parties your site or app may transmit to via web beacons, pixels, or other tracking technologies. It's illegal to make privacy promises to consumers without taking into account any information that's going to third parties through various forms of ad tech. It boils down to this: don't make privacy promises that your practices don't live up to. They had to make sure they're like, all right, you guys, for real, fucking stop selling shit. But they had to like really put it in. They're like, we thought we could be, you know, we thought we could have be lenient on how we put things, but y'all have forced us to make sure we go over everything in detail on how you guys should conduct the privacy of your patient's data. Stop selling that shit, for real though.
More active role in monitoring what data their ad partners actually collect and share. And finally, the last reform prevents platforms from misleadingly using certain seals in their advertising material. For example, BetterHelp allegedly used the term HIPAA throughout their marketing material, something that likely conveyed that some sort of third party or government agency had reviewed and certified the platform when that wasn't the case.
Oh shit.
Honestly, all of these reforms are great steps forward in making online therapy a truly safe and private space.
Agreed.
But I think this still leaves one overarching question unanswered. Should we even be promoting online therapy?
Ooh, that's a good question. Because like online therapy is different from the in-house therapy where the therapist can read your emotions, they can read your reactions, they can read your facial expressions to certain questions, instead of you being able to be behind the computer and then give a reaction or something that the therapist normally would have seen and would have marked out as odd, and then you being able to think of a different answer that you want to give other than the one that you would have given. Yeah, I think online therapy isn't really. Of course, most people when they seek that out, they're probably going to be honest, but not everyone is going to want to do that. Like, they're still going to be able to hide things that the information that the therapist would need to see, so that they can help diagnose their patient. There's a lot. If you think about it, there's a lot of things that online therapy can't do that in-house therapy can't. And by in-house, I mean like actually going into personal, like being face-to-face. The problem with online therapy.
It's no wonder why online therapy has exploded in popularity, especially with the pandemic. People like the convenience of being able to talk to a professional from the comfort of their homes. But the simple reality is that online therapy doesn't stack up to in-person therapy, and I don't think that's really a controversial statement.
And they're not always using webcam, I'm sure.
The in-person connection is simply on a different level, which generally leads to far better results. But there's even more to consider than just results. One of the biggest shortfalls of online therapy platforms like BetterHelp is that they don't accept health insurance. This means that the entire cost of the platform and the therapist is coming out of your pocket. To BetterHelp's credit, they have kept their pricing quite affordable, all things considered, only $60 to $90 per week. Okay. But with that being said, if you leverage your health insurance and go to an in-person clinic, you should be able to get a far higher quality of care for the same out-of-pocket cost. Also, speaking about the quality of care, in-person clinics will almost always have higher quality care. This isn't a knock on BetterHelp's therapists. I'm sure there's a good number of highly qualified therapists on BetterHelp. But the key thing to note is that therapists on BetterHelp are psychologists, not psychiatrists.
Oh shit.
In fact, BetterHelp does not even support psychiatrists. This might sound like
BetterHelp does not include one online psychiatrist. However, after you meet with an in-person or online psychiatrist, they may suggest that you connect with a therapist whose specialty or approach aligns with your needs. But still, it's supposed to be online therapy. So why are you meeting with psychologists instead of psychiatrists? I don't know, man. So you can provide at BetterHelp board certified therapists. At BetterHelp board certified therapists can provide therapeutic treatment for ADHD and anxiety, bipolar disorder, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and other mental health conditions. At this time, BetterHelp does not include online psychiatrists. That's fun.
BetterHelp does not even support psychiatrists. This might sound like a novel difference, but it's not. Psychiatrists are actual medical professionals who went to medical school and are certified to diagnose illness and prescribe medication. Psychologists, on the other hand, are more or less just professionals that you can talk to. Again, I'm sure there's
wait. So psychiatrists are the ones that can psychiatrists are the ones that can, prescribe medicine and shit. But they have psychologists. So I guess these guys are supposed to only diagnose you for ADHD and all other shit, and then be like, okay, but you should go and find someone to sell you that said drug. And then of course they send you an email with an ad for it shortly after. But yeah, no man. It's like if I was gonna have someone tell me I should be on certain medication, I'd rather it be someone who can prescribe me said medication. That's how it usually works in the hospital. And I don't know, man. I don't like this.
This might sound like a novel difference, but it's not. Psychiatrists are actual medical professionals who went to medical school and are certified to diagnose illness and prescribe medication.
Okay.
Psychologists, on the other hand, are more or less just professionals that you can talk to. Again, I'm sure there's plenty of highly qualified psychologists, but if you need serious help including diagnosis, prescription, and professional medical advice, a psychiatrist is who you need to see.
Psychologists aren't even supposed to be diagnosing you.
But I bet most BetterHelp users aren't even aware of this distinction or how BetterHelp doesn't have psychiatrists, which brings us back to the core issue, which is the commercialization of therapy. While platforms like BetterHelp may have the best of intentions, they're also trying to maximize profits. In industries like social media, search, or email, it's whatever. But when it comes to mental health, this becomes a lot more dangerous. In fact, most of BetterHelp's shady activity can be attributed to their profit motive. Why does BetterHelp share personal user data with Meta? Well, to reach as many people as possible and make as much money as possible. Why does BetterHelp have arguably misleading promotional material? Well, to reach as many people as possible and to make as much money as possible. Why do BetterHelp users not know the difference between psychologists and psychiatrists? Well, because in BetterHelp's pursuit of reaching as many users as possible and making as much money as possible, talking about services that they don't offer isn't exactly in their best interest. So why is BetterHelp dangerous? Well, because they're commercializing therapy like never before, and that naturally comes along with a bunch of side effects. Someone else who has sold their soul is Skillshare. Check out this video to learn more, but until then, I'm Hari, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
So, I guess, so he just laid out why BetterHelp is not really BetterHelp, but also, he let us know in the title that there's some 3 class actions going on, like lawsuits. So that's why I think when I hear class action, that's the word, normally the word that follows the words class action lawsuit. So I don't know, man. How many of you are using BetterHelp or have used BetterHelp? How do you feel about knowing that they probably sold your information? Did you get any random ads after? Did you get any specific ads after talking to them? And did you follow those ads down the rabbit hole? I don't like it, man. At least, you gotta give them credit for being honest. But yeah, we're selling your information. Yeah, we're doing that. Shit, standard practice, bruh. You gotta give them credit for doing that. But it's still ridiculous to think that first off, they don't use psychiatrists, they use psychologists, which are just for people to talk to. Psychiatrists are the ones that are actually supposed to diagnose you. And not only that, but they're also just we're selling information. And it's like, bro, what? Do you have no shame? What? But let me know what you guys think about BetterHelp. How many do you use it? Do you know people who use it? Are you worried about this information thing being, or is it just, do you care? Do you feel like the psychologists that BetterHelp used diagnosed you correctly? You know what I'm saying? Do you think they said, well, you probably sound like you have blah, 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 blah. Or do you have da 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 da? Like, do you think if they did quote unquote diagnose you, like, do you think they were right or wrong? What's up? And yeah, don't forget to check out Logically Answered. As always, link to the channel and link to the YouTube video will both be in the description below. So be sure to check them out. And while you're there, don't forget to do those 3 things that I like to ask you to do. And like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell for more videos. Yeah. And you know what it is after that, in case I don't see you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Peace. Much love to you.